Order. The first item of business, September 16, 2021. First item of business, well, is roll call to order, roll call, and so we'll have the record show that 5 of us are here. Steve Herbert, yeah, he did say that he is traveling and that he is connecting with us by Zoom.
I'm here.
So Steve is present. So all 6 of us are present. Thank you, Steve. So the next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes for the July 15 regular monthly meeting. And I'll entertain a motion to accept those minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Steve's got the motion.
I'll second the motion.
And Rob Wurge has the second. Are there any changes to those minutes? Any
Just a
changes?
question,
Go ahead.
if I might. I noticed that there was a citizen's comment, I believe, from Josh Cusick, and he was identified with a title. I just don't know if that title is correct. I'm not sure it's particularly important or not, but I know in public discourse, there's been some question about the appropriateness of the title. I don't have a particularly strong feeling one way or the other, but I just thought I'd mention that.
Thank you. So for anyone who didn't hear, Steve was talking about how Josh Cusick spoke at our July 15 meeting, and says Josh Cusick, community ambulance, governed by statute, covers it. It goes on to say what he said, but Steve was referencing what the title that Josh has, different titles. Is that what you're getting at, Steve?
I believe the written minutes identify him as the administrator, but I've heard some in town say that's inappropriate. I think Josh is on the call here. Maybe he can comment. Again, I don't have I don't care, quite frankly, just as long as it's the right title.
The correct title. I can tell you
Correct,
that I can tell you that Rob Wurge just handed back to me the copy of the minutes, and I noticed that Josh's name appears on page 2, which is under new business discussion with the Board of Selectmen about the American Rescue Plan Act funds. And it doesn't, at least on this particular reference, it doesn't mention his title. It just says Josh Cusick, Community Ambulance.
Maybe I thought early on the minutes he was identified as the administrator.
Might be earlier.
If not,
it might
I
be
have no.
earlier. And so what I'll do is I'll ask Dottie just to check the minutes, and if the title that's used to reference, if Josh's title is not the correct one, that will make that correction. If that's
Thank you.
okay. Any other,
That's fine with me.
thank you, Steve. Any other changes to the minutes, potential changes, questions about the minutes? Anything else? Okay, hearing none, all in favor of accepting the minutes, subject to making the change if it's necessary with reference to Josh Cusick. Subject to that, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And Steve, how do you vote? Is he
Aye.
there? Oh, you vote yes?
Yes, aye.
Great.
Yes.
And does anyone vote no? I was going to say, no one's voting no. Does anyone abstain? So we'll have the record show that Rob Mann is abstaining. Were you not at that meeting? Is that what happened? Okay. Rob Mann is abstaining because he was not at that meeting. Okay, thank you. So we'll move on to correspondence. Petition requesting funding for community fire stations. That is correspondence that we received over the course of time since the last meeting. Notification from FOIA such that Connecticut has extended permission for hybrid meetings until April 30th, 2022. And Dottie, I know that you had informed me of that. And so if I follow, what that means is hybrid, meaning kind of what we're doing right now, where we can have a Zoom connected into this meeting, and the community the public can watch us online. And I guess maybe the question I have, and maybe it's a clarification that no one can answer at this moment, but if this, we just got through, what is it, the Delta variant, and now they're talking about some other variant that's going to come along, and then there's a lot of back and forth about whether or not booster shots are going to come out. So I guess my question is, if booster shots don't come out and a new variant comes along and it's causing a lot of problems, I'm assuming this hybrid meetings permission through April 30th includes just going back online like we were, like we've been doing for the last year and a half.
Correct,
So that-
Zoom is still, this is Amy St. Ange, Zoom is still an option.
Right.
Just completely virtual is still an option.
Pure Zoom.
Yeah.
Great. It's good to know. All right, so that was correspondence that we received since the last meeting about this permission to go to April 30th with hybrid and or pure Zoom. So that's it for, well, is there any other correspondence?
We did get something from Amy, the tie and bond report on the fire
That's
department.
right. She sent us the tie and bond report. Yep. That was this week. And that's the tie and bond report that discusses the nature of work to be done at community fire company. That's the tie and bond report. Any other correspondence? Any other correspondence? that
I
I'm
just have a question.
Go ahead, Steve.
I just wondered, I was sort of expecting to get the July financials. I think Orla had mentioned that we were going to get them. She was going to send them out in August. Did they get,
Yeah.
I didn't find them, maybe they were in the spam box, but I just wondered if anybody got them or,
I didn't get them either. I don't think anyone did. I'm always careful whenever I speak on behalf of someone else, so I don't want to make any excuses. However, Orla's mother did recently pass away. She was in Ireland for what, a week, 2 weeks?
She was just coming, this is Amy St. Ange, she was just coming back today, late today, I think.
So I guess I'm inclined to give her a pass because that's a pretty big thing. So
perfectly understandable.
yeah, my guess is that she would probably be inclined, again, I'm speaking on behalf, but she would probably be inclined to get us that report after the fact. Granted, we wouldn't be able to discuss it at this meeting, but at least we'll have the numbers that she disperses, and then we can always ask questions at the next meeting. But you're right, we didn't get it. So let's see, we're moving on to citizens' comments at this time. Is there any citizen that has a comment? Any citizen that has a comment in the room? Go ahead, if you can identify your name and your address, that would be helpful, and make sure that you get it into the microphone so everybody knows.
Suzanne Witkowski, Clarence Drive, Thompson. I want to say that I commend and I thank the EMS that have served Thompson for as long as they have. They've done an amazing job. They worked in some conditions that were not always appropriate, and they've been unhappy for the last couple of years with their situation and the management situation. And I thank them. It took a lot of courage for them to finally say enough is enough. And I think that we should all commend them and thank them for their service. I also want to say that I know that we're going to be talking about the fire departments later. Not in favor of funding the fire departments, the community fire department. I am in favor of funding the fire departments. Let me clarify that. I'm not in favor of funding the request from the fire department for the appropriation of $130,000. And the reason that I feel that there's many reasons. One is I know that they do have their own funding, and we have funded them above and beyond the other stations. And I believe that it's time that we start to look at other options in the center of town here. So I would believe in that. I would only agree, to any kind of funding if they were to change their charter to read that if they are to dissolve, that any apparatus that's sold off the funds would go to the town of Thompson. Whereas now I believe it reads that they would split the money between the members. So just to clarify that. And the other thing is I would request that there be some consideration given to the ambulance themselves, that possibly they be surrendered to the town of Thompson for all the income that we have, or support that we've offered them financially. We have over the years given them considerable amount of money when they lost some of their funding, some of their income from the Speedway. They came to us and said that they were going to close if they didn't have funding from us, and we put them in our budget for a considerable amount of money. I believe back in, and I'm doing this off the top of my head, back in 2013, we gave them money to purchase a new ambulance. and I don't remember the exact amount and the exact year, but it was somewhere around 12, 13, and we gave them like 50, I think, at that time. So my request would be that they surrender the ambulances to the town of Thompson so that we can secure safety here in this town with EMS. That's it.
Thank you. Any other citizens' comments? I'll just sort of look around the room because it's easier. I know that there may be a citizen's comment on the Zoom, but I'll just look around the room just for a moment. Any other citizens' comments from anyone who's in the room here with us? Any other citizen comment from someone who's in the room? Okay, so do we have anyone on Zoom who wants to share a comment at this time?
At this time, no, but if they want to, they could always put something in the chat or raise their hand.
Yep, and I'll be happy to recognize that person so that they can speak during this part of the agenda. Just please know that we don't just entertain random citizens' comments once we get off of this portion of the agenda. This is the portion of the agenda that is reserved specifically for citizens' comments, and it even says it right in the agenda, item 4, citizens' comments. So if any citizen has a comment who's on Zoom, you're welcome to unmute yourself. You can raise your hand. You can let Amy know by putting something in the chat and hitting send. And if anybody else in the room has anything to say, citizens' comments? Okay. So we'll move on to Selectmen's update. First Selectman, Amy St. Ange.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I have a lot of items to update this evening. The first, in August, the Board of Selectmen voted on how to utilize the ARPA funds for the following, and reallocated the funds to the following projects, just to give everybody an overview who might not be aware. $155,144.10 to the Airline Trail / Train Wreck Park. We believe that applied to tourism. That was the category that we applied it to. We decided to appropriate $681,376 to water and sewer infrastructure. That was a distinct item that was listed in the options for how to spend the money. It was very clear, and our facility is plus 40 years old and has only seen reactive maintenance. So we believe that that was something that would benefit the town into the future. We put $72,200 towards the design and engineering of the school track. As everyone knows, the school track has been in great disrepair for a number of years. Many graduating classes have not been able to utilize the track for any type of track meets or even practice at this point. So we believe that to be, an important aspect of childhood well-being. And then lastly, the largest portion is going towards the salt storage facility to protect our public water supply and a future public safety building. We allocated a total of $1,367,000, and then we kept $500,000 remaining in a contingency because at this time we still don't know the exact cost item for any of these projects, but these two projects in particular. So we wanted to make sure that we kept some funding so that the well wouldn't run dry before the projects were complete. We will begin preliminary site work for the salt storage facility and potential public safety facility in the coming weeks. We'll use the funds that were allocated in this year's capital request to pay for that preliminary engineering or preliminary site work. We did have a meeting with Connecticut Water this past week. They are extremely pleased with the plans to move forward with a self-contained storage facility for the salt. The relief on their face during the Zoom call was just, it spoke volumes. And just knowing that we're protecting the public water supply, that was a stamp of approval for me to know that we were doing the right thing. The under 20-foot bridge inspections are complete. We are awaiting those reports. The Buckley Hill Road Bridge preliminary design and engineering and design is coming to completion. We should have those plans in hand, and we'll be moving forward with researching for a state grant to do those repairs. And on to the difficult subject of this evening, the week that I've had. It has been an extremely difficult week. On Thursday afternoon, Thursday morning, the resignations of our EMT staff started coming through. I was ghost copied on most of them. That continued through Friday. They were submitted by team members from Community Ambulance. This left the town relying on mutual aid all weekend. And this was really important to note that during this time, I realized how little power my office held. I made multiple calls. I began Friday morning calling Office of Emergency Medical Services, the Division of Department of Public Health, and looked to them for guidance. I have to say that Judy Reynolds, she was one of the staff members there, was fantastic to deal with. She said throughout the weekend, she was like, Amy, we're here to help you, to walk you through things and help see you through this. This isn't the first time this happens in Connecticut. It's pretty common. Obviously, ambulance service, we know it's a tough business. It's not a great business plan, but it's a necessity. And my goal through the weekend and into the beginning part of this week was to figure out how can we bring service back to this town. So in spite of the calls to me by QV Dispatch, I was not able to cancel the call out, the tone out to Community Ambulance over the weekend. So what that constituted was 2 call outs would go out to Community Ambulance, totaling 6 minutes in lap time or 6 minutes in lag time between actually calling out to mutual aid. So throughout the weekend, we were dependent on mutual aid. So starting on Monday, my primary goal was to make sure that Communities District had R1 service. So I started working towards that. At this time, I do know that Chief Sharp is applying for the R1 license. So what R1 license is the first responder service. That's a service that's been lacking within Communities District. He has assured me that he should have the application ready to go before the weekend. I just have to sign off on that, and then it should be good to go. So what that will do will provide first responder service. In the meantime, my second goal was to make sure that we had ambulance service in place. And this is the piece that's really difficult to share with the Board of Finance. As of this morning, the good news is Chief Grauer made major accommodations to house an ambulance at Thompson Hill Fire Department. They moved out their, I think it's a 1938 tanker truck. They moved that to the Public Works garage, found a space in a corner, covered it with blankets and tarps, and it's going to stay there in the interim. KB Ambulance had an ambulance at Thompson Hill at 6 a.m. Actually, it was there last night and ready for 6 a.m. this morning. I have asked them to pull a 24/7 shift, so basically to give us coverage 24/7 until we can decide what else we might be doing. This comes at a cost of $1,440 a day. That totals $42,000 a month. We do have the option to potentially cut that to a 12-hour shift, a 12-hour time period. I hesitate to do that until I know that we have first responder service for Communities District. But it's something that I want to take up with the Board of Selectmen on Tuesday to get the pulse. Ultimately, I'd like to have 24/7 service. Ultimately, I only want this to last a month. My goal is to stop the bleeding as quickly as possible. That being said, it is imperative that we have ambulances. And I believe that Communities Ambulances are property of the residents of this town. And it's important for them to do the right thing and to provide these ambulances to the town to move forward with another service of some sort. I am in discussion with Putnam EMS. I have spoken to the president of their board, and that is Ed Higgins. I have also spoken to Barney Sine, and they are all in favor that this could be a win for both Putnam EMS and the former Community Ambulance to create a stronger, solidified ambulance service to service both Putnam and Thompson. But the missing piece is the apparatus. At this time, we at least have a place to store it. We have in the works a new public safety building. So that would be my plea to community to come and talk to us, to come to the table and decide what we can do to make sure that our residents are protected. So from what I've been told, regionalization within ambulance and EMS service is sort of what's going to happen. It's almost inevitable. This could be the start. We could be the leaders in this, in moving forward and taking that step. And yeah, the crucial, like I said, the crucial piece though is acquiring the ambulances. I'm attending the Putnam Board of Selectmen meeting on Monday, and I'm going to invite the Board of Selectmen of Putnam and Ed Higgins and the administrator for Putnam EMS to attend our meeting on Tuesday to discuss this in greater detail. But I truly believe that that's the direction that the town should go. Some other little things, the audit has been pushed off to the middle of October at this point because of the situation with Orla and her family. King & King says it's really not a big issue. He's flip-flopping a couple clients. So I think that'll probably be in the best interest. Let's see. One last thing that I wanted to share with the board is I did meet with Centerville Bank a few weeks ago in regard to the North Grosvenor Pond Dam. They have three potential solutions that they're trying to decide on. The first, of course, is the repair of the dam. The second would be lowering of the dam, lowering of the water level to reduce it so it wouldn't be a high hazard dam. That's probably the least one of the least desirable options as far as attracting a developer who might want to develop the property. And the third is an option that's very much advocated by DEEP, but it is the most costly, and that would be the removal of the dam entirely. So they're still doing some research. They haven't shared the cost with us yet. Within the next month, we'll be meeting again and hoping to get some concrete answers on how they're going to move forward with the dam and making those repairs. So.
Questions?
Rob Warge. We need to state my address.
I know.
No,
Okay.
what's your name, so they know who's talking.
Rob Warge is speaking. First comment is, really tough decisions that the Board of Selectmen had to make on the ARPA funds. That was not, everyone had thoughts and ideas and opinions, but it landed on the three of you to make those decisions. So, good job there. That was a tough one. As it relates to the ambulances, how many ambulances are at community
There were
that are
three.
idle right now? Three.
One is, from what I understand, one was kept, and if there's anybody in here that can correct me, one was kept at the Thompson Speedway,
Yep.
and the two are here.
And always best to speak to the people on the ground first. So have you spoken to community about releasing one or more of those to put in use?
I was
And
hoping
have they
tonight,
rejected that?
it would be the forum that we could really discuss with the Board of Finance and see where we could go. I did receive word from Chief Scott this afternoon that they were withdrawing the petition, and from what I can tell, I don't see a single community fire department member in the
When you
audience.
say petition, what petition are you talking
The
about?
petition that's on your new business.
Got it. I figured that was the case, but I
Yeah.
wanted to just clarify.
Yeah. The petition that's on new business, I was told today, now, it's not in writing, so I don't know if that's enough. And if you should move forward with this discussion, but
Address that.
It's okay with me, yeah, but I know that you were answering the question about the three idle vehicles and talking to someone on the ground about releasing at least one of them.
right,
We asked that question.
I have not yet, I
So
hope,
they haven't officially said no. we
Right,
won't help you.
exactly.
If they do, are you considering to speak with town attorney about what options the town may?
Right. I did pose it to him, I have not gotten an answer yet
You've already initiated that conversation.
about, yes, how do we acquire? I initiated it with OEMS as well, who said it was, but,
Stands for?
Office of Emergency Medical Services.
No, the state agency.
That's a state agency, and they said that I would have to check with the attorney.
I would suggest, I don't want to take over the meeting, others have questions, but I would
That's
suggest,
fine.
I would suggest putting that in writing to Chief Sharp and getting a formal response from him, moving forward quickly. My last question on the topic is, if that turns out to be unfavorable and we need to go down another path, is there an opportunity to use the 500,000 in contingency? Does it fall under the guidelines of ARPA? Even if we need to fund that through, temporarily through another bucket, until those funds arrive. I recognize we can't wait.
Right.
Wait is not in the discussion, right?
I absolutely believe it would.
Yep, go ahead.
So there's been a lot of talk about everything that's going on, so I just wanted to get the big picture recap here, just so I know where we are. The community fire department, which housed the ambulance, was basically condemned, right?
Correct.
And as a result of that, the ambulance the people that work for the ambulance company decided that they all wanted to resign because there was no location to house the ambulances, or what exactly happened?
This was something that had been ongoing back, I believe it was May of 2020. They had done what they called it? A grievance, but almost a walkout. So it's sort of a present walkout. Anyway, they took a stand and said, they cited mistreatment, harassment, threatening, and I guess, yeah. So the walkout had nothing to do necessarily with the building itself.
Oh, okay. That they were being asked to go into
Ex-
that building.
Except they were being asked to go into a building that had a vacate order.
Okay, so there's no possibility hypothetically speaking, that they're not gonna run the ambulance anymore because they're not in that, there's no building for them?
What-
Is that what it is?
What happened, no, because Thompson Hill had made the offer. Let's be clear, Thompson Hill had made the offer to house an ambulance on their site,
Okay,
I believe weeks ago. That offer was refused. So, I lost my train of thought. There's a
I'm
lot.
sorry to bring on, I just trying to,
No.
it's been a couple months since we had a meeting, and, I've got other
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
going on, so I just
absolutely.
want to kind of get an idea of what's really going on.
Right. What really is leading us to have to relocate the ambulance service was that on Tuesday, the PSAR, which is the primary service area. I'm asking Steve Boudreau, am I getting that name right? Basically, the license for the service area, it's the R2 license, was relinquished on Tuesday by Community Ambulance,
Oh.
Meaning forfeited.
forfeited.
Right,
They're
turned
done.
in.
Turned
That's
in.
it, that's the end of that,
So
okay.
just to
Okay.
clarify, you mean
Yeah.
that community has officially gotten out of the ambulance business
Correct.
as of Tuesday?
As of Tuesday afternoon,
They were done 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Got it.
Right, and so now the town holds that PSAR, and we would assign it to a provider, which is what we've done temporarily on an emergency basis. We've made KB the provider.
So, another question,
Sorry to interject, just so everyone's clear on this. They did that, and the assets that were providing that service, they're holding
They're
those
holding
assets.
those assets.
Not getting into a discussion of who owns them, but they're holding those assets that were providing a critical function to the town.
and so that was going to be my next question, would be, I understand they're holding the vehicles, and whatever assets go with that,
Mhm.
but what about the money that we had allocated to the ambulance service?
Well, the Board of Selectmen had pushed to make sure that they got a monthly amount, so they've only been paid through September 1st.
So we still have some funds available to pay the new,
That will almost cover 1 month. Or we'll have a little bit left, but it's
So
better
the
than
people-
nothing.
Again, I probably should know this, but were the EMTs volunteers, or were they paid by the bills that came in?
They were paid by
and
the bills that came in.
Providers and all that?
Yes.
Okay.
technically, are they EMS as opposed to EMT?
Well, their EMTs is their title
Okay,
Okay.
I just
versus
want to
an
make sure,
EMR.
just want to make sure that we're using, I want to just make sure we're
Well,
using the
EMR.
correct.
So when we get this new service, you know, like figured out, are we gonna go back down to the same level of payment? Or is it higher now because it's temporary, or the 42,000 a month?
Oh, well, it'll go back to where it was, where we'll be billing. Right now, we're asking for an outside agency, an outside service to come in. They're paying overtime because they don't have staff in place yet.
And because there's still billing going on, I would imagine.
Right, but the billing is on their end, and that's their part. They're
And-
doing this as,
Okay. Now I'm.
they're going above and beyond,
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out why, that whole scenario. So,
right?
I don't want to, just to clarify, I don't want to make any assumptions about what the nature of the question was, but I also want to give you the opportunity to clarify
Mhm.
that when you say it'll go back to the way it was,
Well,
that's subject to any agreement that may be hammered out with Thompson and Putnam to create a unified service. And so going forward, I'm looking for the page in the budget where the appropriation for the ambulance is located, and I'm sure I'll find it as soon as this topic is being discussed. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we will go back to what was
Correct.
appropriated. Because
No.
we don't know, I just want to give you the opportunity to clarify that we don't know, technically, we don't know what the future holds.
correct. One of the other options could be just to contract entirely with KB Ambulance for the future at a lesser rate than this emergency time period.
And so one more question while we're on the ambulance and fire department or community. What's going on with the fire department? Are the fire trucks still in there? Or is that just, that's all out and moved around and?
Everything is supposed to be out of the building.
Yeah.
At this time. I'm not familiar with what's in there at this point.
So now you guys are on the fence as to whether you're gonna put a new station up somewhere or rehab the old one? Is that kind of where we're at, or?
Well, the hope is after our Board of Selectmen meeting, we did make a vote coming out of executive session to pursue the purchase of a piece of real estate within the center of town. It's going to involve some brownfield cleanup money, but we're researching it right now to see if that's a viable option and potential site for whether it's the public safety facility and the fire station or just a fire station.
Now, is that something we could have used the ARPA funds for as well, or I know
Well,
that's.
that's kind of why the 500,000 is still in contingency as well, but that money's just gonna all run out pretty fast.
And one more question for you, Amy, and I know I've only got one more meeting to go, so you guys will
That's
be
okay.
done with me after that. But what are you gonna do with the building if it's not repaired? Is it just, I mean, are we gonna tear it down and make it look nice, or what
That-
are we talking about?
That would be up to community.
Oh, because they own.
Technically, I mean, I believe according to the study, yeah, community owns that building. According to the study, it could be potentially utilized for something else if there's some trucks in it and the floor's shored up. So it could potentially be used for something else, but that'll be for them to decide.
So they're not, so then if, okay, so if we do put the new fire department up, if that's the decision that you guys decide to go with, that's not gonna be housed with the people in community?
Time will tell.
Amy, as far as this new area that you're looking at possibly to buy land for the fire station, so the fire station at that point in time would be owned by the town of Thompson
Correct.
and not fire department, it would be owned by the town.
That would be the intention.
As far as the ambulance, basically, they're just kind of, what's the advantages of them holding on to these ambulances? What are they trying to get out of this deal?
I don't know, I'm assuming money.
So they want to be compensated for the value of
We're
the,
making assumptions. We'll see once we talk to them.
oh,
I was
okay.
going to say, and just to give everybody who's sort of testifying at the moment in this room the opportunity to clarify their statement and their intent. Community Fire Company officially got out of the ambulance business 2 days ago.
Right.
A little over 48 hours ago. And so I just want to make sure that anyone who is speaking of this topic has the opportunity to either speculate or, if they choose not to speculate, what the intent of holding those ambulances is, because it's only been 2 days. If it's been 2 weeks, I would say, feel free to speculate all you want. But if it's been 2 days, just not even a point of order, just to give people an opportunity to say, we don't know. We don't know. We'll find out tomorrow or in a couple of days, but we don't know at this time.
Amy, I
Yeah,
have one more question for you on a completely different subject. Aquatic Road
yeah,
was paved.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. My concern is the trailer dumps, the 14-wheelers, zipping up and down that road. Why can't we put some kind of situation? It's just a matter of them going and staying on a state road and go up on Route 44. And I just think with the amount of money that we've spent on this road and these trucks that are absolutely loaded to the hill are going to destroy this road at some point in time here. And I would love to see the town put some type of limitations on the amount of traffic. That it's amazing how many trucks go up and down that road. And I would hate to see the road be prematurely destroyed over time, where it's just a matter of maybe 1.5 miles, you know, for them to just go to 44, take a right or a left and go wherever they want to go.
right.
I just think that's something the town should really kind of think about, or charge these trucks X amount of dollars a year
Mhm.
to utilize the road. I just think it's a shame to see that these trucks are going to end up destroying the road.
Right. I agree. I think there's limitations to how much you can limit traffic. It's open for commerce. That's the issue. And most of these trucking companies do pay a federal tax we get a certain portion of in road tax back every year. So that's it's tough. I agree. And it's, as Rich had referred to back when he was looking at the collector road grant, it's a collector road. It connects 2 major state highways. And yeah,
Thank you.
Can I ask one more question on a different subject as well? I know that at budget season, we did a lot of talking about the school track. Was there any money put aside towards that
Yeah.
in the original budget that now we're using out of the ARPA funds?
well, there was original money to go towards the testing, and that was the borings and just to make sure that the ground is stable underneath. This money is going to go towards the engineering and design of the
Okay,
track.
so it's 2 separate items.
2 separate items, yeah. They've already started using, I think it was 15,000 that we had put towards that. 10 or 15, yeah. And they've already started using that towards those the testing, the boring.
Wasn't it also combined with the other place, or did they eliminate that?
Bull Hill, but
Bull
they're,
Hill.
they're kind of just focusing on the track at this point, since
That
the,
money was like split.
yeah.
The line item in the budget says Bull Hill Recreation Area / School THMS Track Facility in the amount of $15,000.
One more question, please. I've been away for a few months, so I'm
That's okay.
I'm out of the loop. I apologize. So as far as the track at the school, the money that you're talking about, this isn't just a study, this is to do the job.
Yeah.
And the same with the salt shed.
Oh, this is, yeah, absolutely.
We're moving forward.
We're moving forward to get it done,
Beautiful,
hoping for spring.
beautiful. Great. Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
Any other?
If I might,
Oh, yeah, Steve, by all means, go ahead.
first of all, Amy, I know you were sort of handled real hot potatoes starting roughly a week ago. And you've shown great leadership, unbelievable amount of effort to address the ambulance situation. And I thank you for that. I really appreciate what you've done for our town. Second thing I want to touch on is it's really a question on the ARP funds.
Mhm.
I had the feeling that we were required to provide to whoever approves the spending specific projects. And I'm just wondering, is the contingency amount allowed? Can you do that, or do you have to have it designated for particular projects?
Well, the report is due, I believe it was the end of October. We thought it was at the end of August, but then we found out it was the end of October. I would feel completely comfortable bulking it all in with the public safety building salt storage facility, because at this time, we don't know what the costs are gonna be. And I think 1.3 million might be a low estimate. 1.8 might be more reasonable. So I think it would be safe to bulk it all into those two projects.
So the submission, I guess to call it for lack of a better term, will not actually have a contingency
Right.
category. You will sort of assign to one or more of the projects that we have in front of us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And again, great job on handling the ambulance crisis. That was a lot of work, a lot of effort. New territory. You did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
All set, Steve?
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Go ahead, Rob Ward.
Rob Orge, I was gonna add on to Steve's comment, you could simply, when you title it, public safety complex and salt storage shed and equipment.
Right.
So if you add and equipment, it gives you some latitude, and they may make you go back and define equipment, but at least you have it in.
Equipment could be ambulances.
Exactly.
And we also know that just to point out, on the salt storage facility site, there's going to be a lot of paving, there's going to be some cameras, fencing. So there's a lot more than just the shed, the facility itself. I hesitate to call it a shed because it's so much more than a shed. Yeah.
And the other comment / question was, you're shouldering a lot with this crisis, the immediate crisis, which is going to turn into a sizable project. Do you, or have you thought about maybe a committee of sorts?
Actually, on the drive here, I was thinking that would be a great idea. Potentially have a couple board of finance people and maybe a member or two of.
Talented people in town,
Right.
bring the right group together and help find the right answer.
Rob, man, I don't have any questions, but I just do want to commend the selectmen on their decisions of how this money's spent. I looked at a lot of the options, and I think the direction you guys went was a direction that I would have, liked. I should say, wouldn't have liked, but I do like the direction you went. Track school, obviously, we needed that for that NEASC accreditation,
Mhm.
and we can push it down the road all we want, but at some point it's going to have to be done. I mean, when I graduated high school, it was brand new.
Mhm.
So it'll be nice to have that back for the school. And public safety complex is going to be interesting. And how's just ambulances in the beginning, that would be wonderful, especially at this point. And I hope things get better for you, Amy, because I can't even imagine the week you had.
I don't read social media posts. No. That helps.
I guess I got two more comments. And it's related with the track. It's gonna be really nice, not only for the students, but for the general public to have a safe place to walk.
Right.
I walk 7 days a week. I know you walk 7 days a week with your dog.
Yeah.
You go by my house.
I go by your house almost every day.
And I just think that would be really, really nice. And also with the air trail.
Mhm.
It's amazing how many people use that trail. It is, I use it at least twice a week, and it's fantastic. And I'm glad to see that the town is moving forward with that. These are all good, positive things that you've chosen
Right.
to spend this money on. And it's stuff that on a normal, without these grants, it'd be very difficult for us to accomplish all of this stuff. So I think you guys have done a fantastic job on that.
Great, thank you, Jim. And just to expound on that further, again, this is Amy St. Ange. The airline trail experienced such an increase in usage during the pandemic.
Oh,
That-
amazing.
Because it's right behind my house, and we saw throngs of people every single day during the height of the pandemic. So it only makes sense that really would fit into the criteria for these ARPA funds.
Yep.
And additionally, can I just say that Roland Demers, who works at the Water Pollution Control Authority, was so ecstatic because he has never seen that plant receive attention. And he started his list. We're going to move forward with some really great repairs, and yeah, he's just thrilled. I mean, like I said, 40 years of just reactive maintenance. It's time that it receives the upgrade that's due, and we can be grateful for these funds
Absolutely.
to provide that.
Rob Mannigan, yeah, there's been a lot of changes throughout the years too. I mean, people put medication in there. There's, I know, just in the last maybe 2 or 3 years, didn't we do a phosphorus removal or something,
Right.
upgrade that they had to do there, but that was just a minor thing compared to how much things have changed and things have to be done, unlike, years ago where it was just a simple process. I'm sure it's gotten a lot more complicated throughout the years.
Anything else? Anything else? I was just gonna say on that Aquatic Road issue, how Jim raises a good point that, you've got these heavy trucks going over it. I know every now and then when you're driving down the road, you'll see a sign that says weight limit something. And I guess usually it's before you go over a bridge. Maybe that's what it is, but I just wonder if we as a town have the ability to say, well, this is a local road, it's a municipal road, it's our road, we pay for it, we maintain it, we have a weight limit of X. We would have create a weight limit, put a sign on the side of the road. I'm sure plenty of people in their trucks will disregard it, but if we ever decide to have a police officer stationed on that road, who knows if we ever get back into the resident state trooper business, I don't know. But if you post a sign there that says weight limit such and such, and people disregard it and they keep driving multiple ton vehicles on that road, then I bet if you write a few tickets, they'll probably stop driving on that road.
I'm
Just a
happy
thought.
to look into something
Just a thought.
The
and
only,
try to get some answers.
It starts with,
thing that,
just starts with putting a sign up that says weight limit, blah, blah.
the only problem with that, it's a brand new bridge. They
Right.
just put it up 2 years ago.
I'm talking about, right, but I'm talking about the road in general.
Right.
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
I know a lot of times
okay.
when you see
Yeah.
weight limit, when I'm driving down the road, it's a sign that's just before a bridge. So I don't know if you can put weight limit on a road, but if it's a municipal road, if we own it, I don't know. I don't want to get into
Didn't they
the,
do that to Buckley Road?
I don't know,
They only did it because the bridges themselves
bridges.
are,
Oh, is that what it is?
yeah, the
Oh,
bridges are
okay.
in very poor condition.
I
That,
wasn't sure if it
right.
was because they had done some major repairs to that road.
Nope.
And so maybe if we can't do it to a road, maybe we can do it, the bridge that goes over the Aquatic runoff, the brook that goes off from Aquatic, that's a bridge. And once we repair these bridges down here on Buckley Hill Road,
Keep it.
those are bridges. We
Right.
can say weight limit such and such. And if somebody chooses to disregard it, then they might get a ticket. And I'm sure Wood would get around, don't take your big heavy truck down
Aquatic Road.
Aquatic Road and Buckley Hill Road, go around. These guys all talk to each other.
I can make some calls.
Anything
Happy
else?
to do so.
Anything else? All right, thank you very
All
much.
right, thank you.
That was quite an update.
Sorry about that.
No,
No, that was
these things
very
happen.
informative.
You had a lot happen in the last week, last couple of months. So the next item on the agenda is school district update from Superintendent of Schools, Melinda Smith. I don't know, Melinda, if you are on the Zoom. She is. Fantastic. Welcome.
I'm here, but for some reason, my camera's not working this evening.
She muted.
Yeah. Maybe if she turns it.
Oh, you can't hear?
No.
Okay, I can hear
Melinda,
it.
I think you-
Hello?
There we go.
There you go. I'm sorry, my camera isn't working this evening. I don't know why, but
We can hear you. That's okay. Oh, now she's muted.
She muted again.
Linda, you're muted at the moment.
okay, how's that?
Yep, that's good.
You're back.
Okay, great. So we've had a very busy summer. This summer we had a lot of summer programs for our extended school year for special education. And thanks to American Rescue Plan dollars, we were able to offer a Jumpstart program 2 weeks prior to the start of school for students at all 3 schools to give them a leg up and transition them into the school year. So those programs were really well attended. During the summer, we had numerous construction projects going on. We want to thank the members of the Board of Finance and the town of Thompson for funding our new roof. and the beautiful new flooring at Turtle Rock Memorial High School. The floors are complete, and Mr. Birch reports that the roof is almost close to completion. And we've had several rainstorms, and we're not getting any leaks. So that's all good news. We have several building projects in addition to the roof and floors that took place over the summer. The following are all grant-funded projects. Our transition room received a complete upgrade with a studio apartment that has a full kitchen, a laundry room, and that was all designed, donated, and installed by Lowe's of Killingly. Mr. Jones established a relationship with Lowe's, and to his credit, he had that room completely transformed into a studio apartment for our new transition program for students 18 to 21. And they're going to be learning life skills and other job-related skills in that classroom. As far as the security gates, the trenches and the electrical connections are complete. We are waiting on the gate itself. The steel is on back order, and that's preventing the gate from being installed. You know that that was funded through a safety grant. Our new telephone system was installed this summer throughout the campus, and that was funded from an Alliance grant. And now we're just all trying to figure out how to use the new phones. And the exterior speakers and speakers up on the field are partially complete. That is also part of an Alliance construction grant. And the new dust collection system at Turtle Rock Memorial High School shop is installed and is operating. So, and those were all grant-funded projects. School opened on August 25th. We currently have 940 students, and I can say that enrollment is still not stable because we still have students registering and withdrawing, usually up until about the 1st of October. There's 940 students, which was up from August 1st. We had an enrollment of 906. There are 415 students at Mary R. Fisher, 296 students at Thompson Middle School, and 229 students at Turtle Rock Memorial High School. We have a new administrative team. We welcome Dr. Nathaniel Mayo as the principal at Turtle Rock Memorial High School. We welcome Kim Granado, the principal at Thompson Middle School, and Rebecca Palachik, the assistant principal at Thompson Middle School. And we're currently, we started school on the 25th, and we came in and we didn't have too many problems. However, on Monday, we were faced with a bus driver shortage, and we had to petition the state. We're not allowed to go remote. That has been a directive from the State Department of Education. However, we had 13 drivers that were out of work. They called in ill, so we were not able to run all the tiers of our buses. So right now, this week, Mary R. Fisher students are learning remotely from home, and the middle and high school students are in. We haven't been able to provide service to our Killingly VOAG students and the students that go to Ellis. And we haven't been able to run all of our out-of-district special education runs. I had a meeting with the bus company today, and it looks like the shortage is going to continue into next week. And tomorrow I'll be informing our parents of the plan for next week. So I think both Amy and I have have had a remarkable week. That's my update up to this moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Melinda. Questions for the superintendent? Questions for the superintendent?
I'll make a comment.
This is Steve.
Go ahead, Steve.
I'm somewhat familiar with the bus driver shortage, and I know you also faced a crisis, and I want to thank you for the efforts you took in that regard as well. One of the issues that comes up each year with the education costs are the number of special needs students. I wonder if the number of those is within the plan of your budget, or if we're facing a problem, or we may be a little bit ahead of the game. I wonder if you're able to comment at this time about that.
Well, I am. Actually, our numbers in out-of-district placement are up. We also have 2 students that have moved into Thompson, and both of those students are in placements that are a high ticket cost. Our People Service Director, Chris Jones, is working with our attorneys to make sure that we're legally responsible for both of those cases. I mean, we've certainly checked residency. However, those are pending and those are not included in the number 29. So we're seeing those out-of-district placement numbers go up, regardless of the fact that we have our own on-site programs through the Bradley program. But we've had, I think, 17 students move in since the start of school with education, individual education plans, and many of them needing high-cost services.
I'm sorry, the 17 is an increase over.
Last year.
I just don't know the numbers from prior, so that's a 17 more than last year. Is that what we're saying?
Well, 17 new students into the district, and out of those 17, several of them have needed services that are not budgeted.
Okay, thank you. Just something for us, I guess, to be aware of. Thank you.
Correct. Thank you.
Any other questions for, any other questions among Board of Finance members for the superintendent? All right, Melinda, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Financial report, Finance Director Orla McKiernan Raftery. She is not here for reasons that were already mentioned earlier in this meeting. I know she typically provides an update on the Turtle Lot Fund, so if everybody's okay with skipping over that one, I'd say it's safe to skip over that one as well. That brings us to new business. The item under new business is the following, and I specifically had Dottie, I asked Dottie to enter it onto this agenda exactly as it appears in the petition, because I wanted to make sure that, that no one says that we misrepresented or we presented it in some way that wasn't factual. This is exactly how it appears in the petition. It says petition requesting an appropriation of up to $107,000 for the stabilization of floors at community fire station and up to $23,000 for the engineering of the building / site for the purpose renovating or addition. That's exactly how it appears on the petition, typo and all. So is there anyone here who wants to begin the discussion on this item?
I'd be happy to begin the discussion.
Go ahead,
on
Rob
this
Ward.
item. The first question or concern is that the $107,000 is I don't have it up anymore, it was on my computer, it's called a probable cost or some type of an opinion. I think it would be difficult to have a meaningful discussion without additional people here to answer questions that are not here. And secondly, getting into a heavy discussion around approving or not approving a $100,000 opinion, I think would be premature. And I would suggest if others are in alignment, that maybe we table it until we have a series of, say, hard quotes or the project's a little bit further along so we can have a better discussion about it.
Well, didn't you say that they pulled the petition requesting the funds?
And so this is Rhonda now speaking. Go ahead.
Oh, Rhonda Rooney. Is this not that they, earlier Amy said they pulled the petition to request the funds. So what, is this still on the table?
That would be my question. I would hesitate to pull it off because the chair, Aaron McGarry, did not receive anything in writing. And this was verbal over the phone. So if I were the board,
And it was not verbal to me.
it was only verbal to me. Correct. So
So keep going.
if I were the board, I would continue to at least have the discussion. Because that was the directive from our attorney, that it would go to the Board of Finance to discuss the possible appropriation of the funds. And I think it wouldn't be good if you didn't discuss it without formally the petition being withdrawn at some way. So I think legally you could face something. We could face some reprimand.
Anybody else have any?
So
Go
the
ahead,
town
Jim.
stand at this point in time is that, this petition that they're asking for, there's a good possibility that they're pulling it off the table, the whole $130,000.
Only verbally from Chief Sharp today,
To you,
to me,
to no one else.
to no one else.
I just want to clarify,
Okay.
Correct.
verbally from Chief Sharp.
So until
To the
we
first
know
select-
what's going on, there's no sense of.
I don't
And we
know.
are discussing it, so. But to your point, no point in discussing it further. That's your intent? You're saying there's no point in discussing it further.
Well, until we know exactly what they want, we don't want. And at that point, it sounds like at this point in time, we really don't know what they want.
We certainly know what the petition says.
I know what the petition says, and I know I've got my views on it, but I'm not
Me
gonna
too.
do that until I know exactly what's going on.
Certainly, to your point of what's going on, I mean, I look at the attendance and I don't see anyone in the list of, certainly there's no one in the room from community, and I don't see anyone in the list of people attending in the Zoom, unless, is Chief John Sharp in the Zoom? John Sharp, are you there? Just in case, because sometimes people log in and it's got one name, or it's got some name that isn't necessarily a person's name. So I'll just ask one more time. Is John Sharp, are you on the Zoom? Are you connected to this meeting? Or who is the,
Roger Duran?
is Roger Durand connected to this meeting? Roger Durand? Somebody told me I should ask for Bueller. So I guess it feels like if we have questions about this petition, the petition, at least in my opinion, it's clear enough. It says, request for appropriation of 107 for stabilization of the floors and up to 23 for engineering of the building/site. That's clear to me. But that certainly begets questions, like the question that Rob Word had, which is, it feels like these are numbers coming out of an estimation as opposed to numbers coming out of something more specific, something that looks more traditionally like a clarification of what the work is involved, how much, what's going to cost what, and if this requested amount really is going to cover what's proposed. And so that's where the questions come from. And I would think that Roger Durand or John Sharp would be the people that we would pose those questions to. And so if they're not in this meeting, it really would be difficult for us, at least my estimation, for us to move forward in any constructive kind of way.
I have to agree. I think we should table till next meeting, our next meeting.
And so I'll clarify that I know with Robert's rules, whenever a motion is made to table, it shouldn't be amended, meaning it shouldn't be tabled until such time or until such an action. It's just a motion to table. So I think Steve is right. I think Jim is right. So I'll go ahead and I will make a motion to table. That's it, because that's the way Robert's rules says. You just make a motion to table. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Oh, okay. Steve has got the second. So this is, a motion has been made and seconded to table this issue. It'll be tabled until such time in the future that we choose to bring it back up again. That's the way it works. So that way you don't say we'll table until a certain date, because then what you're doing is you're binding a future meeting. And it's, one meeting should not bind a future meeting. So we're gonna vote to table until such time that we decide to revisit this issue. Does that sound fair?
Discuss that.
Good idea. Good idea.
Go ahead.
Rob Word, do we have, that's an option? Do we have an option to, based on the fact that there's no representation, to have a meaningful discussion and clarify the questions that we have? We'd have an option to reject the opinion or the petition or reject the appropriations, not approve the appropriations. Therefore, it's stronger than tabled, it's resolved.
Any thoughts on that? So here's my concern. Go ahead, Steve.
I just would say, it's sort of the, I guess, as Rob is saying, I think the choices are either to reject it or table it. I think just out of abundance of sort of courtesy, tabling might be the better choice. I kind of agree with Rob, but I think tabling gives opportunity to those who petitioned us to come forward some future time to state their case.
Okay. Anything else?
I agree with Steve. I think that we should keep it friendly and cooperative.
Fair enough. Anything else? Anything else? All right, so it's probably easy enough for us to just do a collective yay or nay on this one. All in favor of tabling this issue, signify by saying aye. Aye. Steve, how do you vote?
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
vote no? Got it? Anyone vote no?
I vote aye. Aye.
Anyone, we got it, Steve? And anyone abstain? All right, so that's unanimous. We're voted unanimously to table. Let's see, so I'm gonna flip through my pages here to get back to the agenda. So that brings us to item 10, old business discussion. Decision by selectmen regarding American Rescue Plan funds. So because it says discussion by selectmen, does that mean that selectmen want to lead off this discussion, or are we leading off the discussion? I'm not sure. Did someone request this on the agenda? I know that we discussed decisions related to the ARPA funds earlier in this meeting. I guess technically maybe it would have been better for us to do it down here, seeing it was on the agenda, but it sounds like no one from the Board of Selectmen, at least who's here in the room, requested to put this on. Does anyone at this time, because we are here, we're on item 10, discussion about the ARPA funds. Does anyone want to discuss the ARPA funds? Okay. We'll move on to item, I guess that's item 11, Board of Finance member comments. Any Board of Finance member comments at this time? Board of Finance member comments. Steve, any Board of Finance member comments?
No, I'll just reiterate, my thanks for the efforts for both our superintendent and select woman on the first select woman on the efforts that they've made on behalf of the town. We owe them a real congratulations and a thank you.
I agree,
I guess
Steve.
thank you is really right.
I agree. Well said, Steve. I agree. Anyone else? Board of Finance member comments? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. I'll entertain. Is that, so you making the motion? Tim's got the motion. Is there anyone who's got the second? Rob Mann has the second. All in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye. Aye. Steve, how do you vote?
Aye.
Great.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Great. This meeting is now adjourned. It's 8:13 PM according to my cell phone. Thank you very much, everyone.